Welcome everyone. Let's turn that off. Excited to have you all here. Make sure that, just let me know where you're from. Make sure that you can hear me in the comment section if you don't mind, just so I make sure that I'm not talking to dead air. I'm excited for everyone to be joining us. Hopefully this little embroider-along will provide you some motivation to tackle this project, maybe even some inspiration to get ready for the holiday season, although it's still not officially fall yet. We will take what we can get, right? We want to, takes me a little bit to get into the, I don't know, the holiday spirit maybe is more of the thing. It's hard in this world because holiday is almost year round, from the time that we start ordering fabric to when we actually put fabric out. All right, give me one moment and we're gonna get started. Again, welcome to Material Girls and our Embroider-along using the Kimberbell Cup of Cheer Advent Quilt is going to be the project that we're going to spend meeting once a week here for the next few months working on this project. Hello everyone. You can just let me know if you can hear me. I would appreciate it. Just trying to make sure that everything is set. And we are ready. Hi, Miss Jackie. Things. All right. Hi, Miss Deanna. Well, let's get started. Even if, like I said, if you can't, oh good, make sure I'm not talking to dead air here. If you aren't able to participate every week or things like that, or we're always going to be on Wednesdays except for this week. I am a day behind. I came back from vacation with a head cold, so I was not quite as peppy and prepared yesterday as I was digging out from being gone for a week. So I wasn't really ready to talk about all of this, even though I did work on it and prep it while I was on vacation. But I've got it together and I'm ready to cover it all today and to tackle it. So we're gonna meet once a week for the next few weeks, basically until the end of November. My plan, which I will show you here in a little bit, is going to be to have this all finished and ready for you to be able to use December 1st. Okay, that's my goal. I've kind of broken it down. We're going to start out with the easy blocks and then work our way into more, I don't want to say difficult, but a little more intricate technique as well. So, to work on this project, excuse me, we are going to need a few things. You're going to need the Cup of Cheer embroidery design collection. Okay, so this design collection is going to give you all the designs and instructions that you need to do this project. Okay, this was released from Kimberbell last year, and so it's not a new item. It is about a year old, and we are just now tackling it. It was just no way that we were going to be able to get it done during last holiday season, so now we are ready to go. So the embroidery design collection again has all the designs in multiple formats that we need to tackle this project. You're going to need an embellishment kit. Now, the embellishment kit contains all the buttons and the bells and the felt and the clothespin and the twine. It has a little music box in it as well that goes into making all of the dimensional pieces of this project. And then we have a fabric kit. The fabric kit is optional. If you want to use your own fabrics, that's not a problem. Just reach out to me and I will gladly get you a copy of yardage that's a little easier than what is in the book, and I'll send you what you need. Most things are fat quarters for this, so you could easily use your stash and things along that lines as well. We have the fabric kit. We have to make it look exactly like it is in the graphics in the project book. Okay. The other optional item for this project is the Cup of Cheer design quilting design bundle. Okay, so this quilting design bundle we'll talk about here in just a few moments. This is actually purchased via directly from Kimberbell.com. And I've put a link here in the comments. There's also a link in the video description, and you can also access it directly from our website. But this is completely optional, and we'll talk about it, like I said, in just a moment. So, just an idea, the book, again, has the CD and all the directions, all the embroidery files in the 8 top formats that are needed, and any SVG files that are available if you want to pre-cut your appliques versus trimming them in place, or pre-cut embellishments. There's not always an SVG for every single thing that's in there, but if it is considered an applique, for the most part, Kimberbell has given you the SVG file. The embellishment kit, again, includes the jingle bells, the buttons, the clothespins, all that fun stuff, plus the little sound button. And if you're familiar with the 2 Scoops bench pillow that had the little music box in it that played from the ice cream truck, this one plays We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and it's part of the little heart that goes on day 25. There is a piece of flexi foam that is required for this project. It is not included in the embellishment kit, and it is not included in the fabric kit. Can be pieces. There's a cutting chart inside. Can be flexi foam. Can be any soft and stable. If you make bags like we do here, we have lots and lots of scraps of any soft and stable that can be used for this project. I am going to be using Bernina machines for this project. In the studio here, I have an 880 that we'll be doing. We also have a couple of other machines that we may be floating in and out of the studio. The brand new 790 Plus is coming into the studio here soon. Plus we have the 590 and maybe even the Burnett 79. What's great about this is the designs are all available to work in a 5x7 hoop. There are a few designs in this project that are larger than 5x7. She gives you the files as 5x7. It would be created in a multiple hooping, and the instructions are there. But if you have a machine that is capable of 6x10 or 8x12, you would be able to do those few designs in a single hooping. And we'll talk about those in a few weeks. I've put those towards the end of this project just because they are a little bit more intricate, and I want those that are maybe this is beginner and this is just like the first big quilt project, embroidered quilt project. We're going to work up to things that may look a little more intimidating than others. But I'm going to be here to walk you through it. So that cup of cheer background quilting, there are two ways that you can do this project. You can embroider them, put the whole quilt together, and then take it to be quilted. Take it to your long armor for custom quilting. You could sit down and custom quilt it. You could do edge to edge, but you're going to end up embroidering or quilting over top of your embroidery. Maybe not the look that you want. I am going to be using the background quilting files from Kimberbell that is going to quilt my background first through the batting and my background fabric. It removes any batting from our seams, so it'll be very easy for me to put together. And when the quilt is finished and we have all our blocks embroidered, okay, my quilt will be done. Okay, I'll just put a backing on it and stitch in the ditch if I want, or do anything else that's there, tack it in certain places. There is a bundle that has put all of these designs together. Now, if you are familiar with Kimberbell quilting files, you may have some of these already, so you may want to make sure that you don't already own some of these. That's there. It's 7 designs that you get, and each of those designs comes with a full set of sizes. And if you're familiar with Kimberbell quilting designs, they have like a lot of sizes, so all the way from like 2x2 to some border pieces. So it's like 312 different size files that you're going to get for this. So it doesn't have to be just used for this particular quilt. Okay, Miss Deanna said, would edge-to-edge quilting interfere with pockets? Yes. So it's definitely a project that calls for custom quilting, not something that I would technically do edge-to-edge on unless it was just the borders. So it's why I highly recommend that you use this background quilting option to help you get your quilt quilted. It will save you some money in the long run. It may feel expensive when you buy the background quilting designs, but I can tell you a custom quilted Kimberbell quilt can cost you anywhere from $250 to $500. Okay, depending upon the intricacies and the designs and things like that have been done. So you want to make sure that this is really much cheaper in the long run. And then all these files from the quilting designs, you get them both for clear blue tiles and for block by block quilting, which is what we're going to be doing with this project. So again, the life of these can be used for things outside of just the cup of cheer quilt. Okay. So the stabilizers that are going to be needed for this particular project. Okay, there's just a few. They're actually all pretty common. You probably already have them in your particular stash of stabilizers. First up is going to be batting. If you are going to quilt, okay, this project, and you are going to do this with the background quilting files, you're going to need batting. Okay. If you are not going to use the quilting files, you don't need batting until the whole project is finished. Kimberbell has their project batting. I carry another batting called embroidery batting. There you could use regular quilt batting, scraps that you may have left from a quilt. Just make sure that if you're going with scraps, that it's all the same type of batting. You don't want to be using a cotton and maybe a puff and this and that. You want it to all be the same so that your quilt is nice and consistent all the way across. You have a fusible backing, or what we call here the OESD fusible woven. Okay, and the fusible woven is also known as, you can use the Shape Flex Pellon product, Shape Flex SF101. okay, can be used as well. This fusible woven is going to be used on the background of on the back of every background piece in this quilt, okay? The purpose of this is to give your background a little bit more body to help prevent puckering and wrinkles as we lay all this embroidery inside of it. So I highly suggest that you don't skip this step. The next main stabilizer that we're going to be using is going to be poly mesh, okay? So the poly mesh is a lightweight mesh cutaway, okay? And that's what Kimberbell refers to it as. We use it here, the OESD product here. We use poly mesh, the same concept. We have it in a variety of sizes. That's there as well. Let me get this all in here for you. So this is going to be the item that we put in the hoop of every hooping that we use. Our batting will go on top of it, and then we will take care of all the rest of the stitching. You're going to need a wash away topping, which is the OESD Stitch 2.0, or any wash away topping. It's the stuff that looks like saran wrap. We're going to use it in a few projects where we have some texture or dimensional items we need to make sure stay held down. We're going to need a regular wash away stabilizer, okay, which is going to be used for making some lace ornaments that are used as pieces to this project. And then we're also going to need a medium weight tearaway for using on underneath some of the denser designs to again help prevent puckering. Now all of these links and everything you are going to use throughout this particular project. Miss Deanna says, if I'm using Kimberbell, which do I use? You're going to be using the light mesh cutaway. In Kimberbell world, I think it is yellow in color, and she calls it, one second, let me grab my book here, and I'll point it out here in a moment. Yeah, it's like an orangey color. It's light mesh cutaway stabilizer that you would need, and you're going to be using most of the stuff that will 5x7, except for those few blocks that will be slightly larger. That'll be there. So those are the stabilizers. Again, nothing real out of the ordinary. If you're an embroiderer, you probably have all of these in your stash already. So thread colors. Ultimately, there is not a list of thread colors. Now, I've given you a suggested list of Isacord thread colors that I have here, that I have matched against the Glide thread colors that Glide puts together into a kit. Now, I personally don't care for Glide. Lots and lots of people use it. I don't care for it. I like my Isacord. So that's what we sell here, and that's what we use. So these are all just suggested colors that match up to the Glide colors that are there. The ultimately, as you're going along, and when you're appliquing over a piece of fabric, do you want it to contrast? Do you want it to match? You can kind of build things as you go. It doesn't need a lot of colors. I got 3, 6, 9, there's 10 thread colors there that you could make do with. I didn't even include the color that I would probably quilt in on this particular piece either. So it doesn't need, we're not talking 100 thread colors. And a lot of them are colors that are probably in your stash. Red, green, there's a turquoise, I think there's a pinky coral gray. So you can kind of create your colors as you go along for this project. Now, you're probably, some of you, again, if you're a beginner, this could already be overwhelming as to all the stuff needed. It's really, we're going to do it one block at a time. We're going to do it together. I'm going to be here to help you and it's gonna be okay, okay? Don't look at it as, you know, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time, isn't that the saying? And that's exactly what we're gonna do with this particular project. Okay, so before I get here, let's look at something. So let's go here. Okay, I just want to show a few things to you, just to give you a visual. So your embellishment kit, everything in here, like I said, that you need with the exception of the foam is in here. You can have your nice big list down there at the bottom. I would probably leave everything in here until you need to cut it. And then the stuff that doesn't really get stitched to the quilt, until the whole quilt is finished, I would put in a safe place so that you don't lose it. This is our fabric kit. So again, everything is here in this particular kit. There's a little paper art here for making a, I believe it's a teacup. It's there, but everything is included in this kit, as well as the borders and the binding. There is not backing included in this particular kit, but you can add any particular batting that you would like. We still have, I think 90% of all of the Cup of Cheer fabric collection available in the store. Plus we carry all of the Kimberbell basics, and her new basics will be here later this month, as well as she refreshes that particular collection. That's there. This here is the poly mesh or the light mesh cutaway that I'm gonna suggest you use, and Kimberbell suggests that you use in your hoop. So just kind of give you an idea as to what it looks like. It's very lightweight. It's not going to add a lot of bulk to your fabric or make anything too stiff. This is the fusible woven, okay, that I talked about. This is what's going to get applied to the background of all, to the back of all of your backgrounds. And so this has got fusible on one side, you'll iron that to the wrong side, and then we will be all nice and ready to embroider. So let me show the book here for a moment. I'm going to come over here and we're going to zoom in just a bit. Let's back that up. So your homework for this week, or the first start of our project, is to cut the fabrics using the charts in the book, okay? Pages 4 through 6 are going to have the cutting chart in a list form. It's going to show the fabric and then tell you all the sizes you need to cut. Pages 7 through 8 are going to show you each fabric and a diagram of how they intend for you to get that out of it. So, so when you open your book, on the front cover is your CD that contains all of your designs. And then if we start at page 4, you can see a graphic image of everything that we need, all the fabrics that we have, okay? It gives you the purpose of where it's being used, the section of the quilt it's going to go in, and then it tells you the dimension that needs to be cut. Okay? If that's fine for you, you can tell exactly how, like, you know, this walk you need a 6.5 inch square. I think I can figure that out. But looking at these longer lists, and you want to make sure that you don't accidentally cut something incorrectly, or you figure out a way that you want it to come out of it and it's not actually the right amount. When you start on page 7, they're showing you a picture of the fabric and then showing you how they intend for you to get all those particular pieces out of that fabric. Okay, so you can see they're all listed there for you. Now, once you get all your fabrics cut, we're also going to cut the embellishments. And so there is a list of embellishments, what is basically inside your embellishment kit. You're going to pull out and you're going to cut the chart here on pages 9 and 10. At the bottom of page 10, there are graphics showing you how to cut what you need out of some of the more intricate or larger quantity things that you need. So like the felt, the foam, the prickly pear felt, the glitter, and the shape form. It's a tighter squeeze as to how to get all of those cuts out of it. They give you a measurement, okay, a diagram to help you do that. You can feel free to not cut your inner and outer borders yet. We don't need them. Might as well leave them as whole yardage. There's no reason to cut them. We can leave them, again, like I said, folded up and in your box. You can, if you would like, go ahead and make your binding. Okay, it's completely up to you. If you're one of those quilters, not me usually, want to go ahead and make your binding, or at any point in time in this project, something good to do while the machines are doing long color runs is to work on your binding, and then you can put it back in your box and you'll be ready to bind the quilt at the end of this project and ready to use it on December 1st. Organizing all of this, okay, so that we make sure that we grab the right fabric for the right thing. Okay, I don't necessarily worry so much about sections at the moment. Okay, I pay attention to the name of the particular block. So like, for example, mitten 1, mitten 2, tree bucket, tan house, things along that lines. So I highly suggest go to the dollar store, grab yourself a couple boxes of baggies and a Sharpie marker, and I would take and mark on my baggie, and I don't think I have a Sharpie marker in here. No, I don't. And I would write on my baggie mitten 1. And then everything associated with mitten 1 is going to go in this baggie. You can go ahead if you like and write the section on here as well. But I worry about putting the section later once the design is finished. We will organize our blocks by section as we finish them. So for right now, the section really has nothing to do with it as we create the blocks. It really has to do with it when we go and start assembling the particular quilt. Okay, so if you want to make sure you can use your baggies multiple times, get yourself some painter's tape or masking tape, write on that, and then stick that to your baggie, and that will let you peel that off when it's finished, and you won't have to worry about having to scratch anything out. So the biggest thing is getting things cut and organized this week. I would also, while you're cutting, if a fabric is labeled as a background in your chart, that you cut and fuse a matching piece of fusible interfacing to the wrong side of that fabric. Okay, so for example, you see here it says this fabric, the gray with the snowflake, mitten 2, background. I'm going to be cutting a 6.5 by 8.5 piece of fabric. I'm going to go ahead and also cut a 6.5 by 8.5 piece of fusible woven lining or fusible interfacing to apply to that background before I put it in the baggie. That way it's done. You're already finished, and when we get to that block, you're ready to just pull it out and start stitching it. Okay? So you want to go ahead and move all the embroidery designs and the quilting designs to your USB stick. Okay, I would get a USB stick that is dedicated to this project. That way it can just stay with the project while you're working on it. Now, I told you earlier that you're going to get 312 quilting designs, right? You don't need all 312 files over on that USB stick. I have a list. This is the files that you need. Now don't think you're going to have to like write all this down. I'm going to give you a link, not only here but also in the video comment section, the video description section, that links to this document that you can print out. This document is going to show you exactly which designs are going to go where. And so you can see you're going to need, from winter 2, you're going to need the 4x4 design that has this file name attached to it. And we're using the block by block formats. Okay, so if you come into this design collection, your quilting designs, you're going to have a choice of clear blue tiles or block by block. You want to use the block by block folder. Okay, that's going to give us the placement line, the tack downs, and the trim lines so that we're able to get the batting out of our seam allowances. Okay. Batting prep. If you have time and want to get yourself cut with the batting as well, you can. Okay. You need to cut the size batting to match the quilting design for each block. So for example, I'm going to back up one here. So they show us that we're going to be using snowflake 4x4. Okay. So that's a 4x4 design. So in that chart, you're going to need a 5x5 piece of batting. So ultimately, you're going to need whatever size the quilt design is. You're going to need a piece of batting that's 1 inch larger in both directions. Okay, and then go ahead and stick that in the baggie. If you want to cut as you go, that's absolutely fine as well. But if you find yourself with some extra time, go ahead and pre-cut it. It'll make things, you know, later down the road when you're embroidering and you have a few moments, you may be able to get something finished a little quicker because you're also not trying to cut at the same time. Okay. So this is my timeline. This is my plan. And I will, each week, I will remind us as to what we're going to be doing the following week so that if, you know, prepping all of this is way too much at one time, or I know we're all busy, so you can just focus on prepping what we're going to be doing the following week. So next Wednesday, okay, we are going to stitch just the blocks that contain stitching. There's no applique, there's nothing. It is just background, quilting, and thread. Okay, so very, very easy. This is what we're going to use to kind of introduce us to background quilting. If this is the first time you've ever done background quilting, if this is the first time you've ever done an embroidered quilt, these are what we're going to be doing. So your goal ultimately is to get everything prepped. Okay, ultimately. But if that's just too much, I want you to focus on getting things cut for snowflakes 1 through 4, the block that we call believes, snuggle, and the designs for the MRRY letters. Okay, so I'm going to show you what to look at here. Okay, so back this up. We're going to find on page 18 is going to be where the snowflakes are. So you can see in the picture, okay, that which fabrics that you need, okay. You could go ahead and already figure out what colors you want them to be as well. They show you exactly which fabrics you need, what sizes they need to be in. So if you can't tackle this entire chart here, you can do this block by block, okay? And you're going to want to go ahead and fuse your fusible to the wrong side of these. These are the quilt designs that you're going to need for these blocks. So we're also going to need batting to match them, okay? And then this is what we're going to be doing. And then here is the Mary, the M-R-R-Y letters. You'll find the letter E. We have the Believes block, and I think there's one more that is called Snuggle. Okay. So all of these we will be doing next week. So if you don't have time to get everything cut, at least get these particular ones cut. So with the hope that by the middle of November, we are embroidering our last block. We're also going to embroider a zipper pouch, an optional zipper pouch, to hold all of the dimensional pieces that get attached to the quilt, that are used as your little advent pieces. We will be sewing the sections together and doing the border quilting as well. And then 11/29, everything will be sewn together, and we will be attaching all of the final embellishments that need to be attached that don't get sewn. They're usually hand done, and then binding, and then you'll be ready for December 1st. Oh, Miss Jackie, you're not going to be it's okay. It sounds like a lot. I know, trust me, it's going to be, it'll probably be a lot for me too with the 9,000 other things that I do. But we are gonna keep it moving. Not a problem. And just do what you can. If it's not ready for Christmas and you don't stay on this, the videos are gonna be here. They're never going away. They'll live right here on YouTube. And you can reference back to them at any time. So if you had to miss a week or something along that lines, it's okay. And you will maybe not be done until the middle of December. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. The holiday season comes every year. There's no expiration date for it. And these designs don't have to just be used for a quilt. I mean, you can apply these designs to anything else that's out there. The snowflakes, all that stuff can be embroidered anywhere and everywhere. All right. Do I have any questions about what's going to happen? We will be here. I will be here next week at 10 a.m. We will work through all of probably not stitching every single block because we can't be here all day. But I will demonstrate how to bring your quilt designs in, because once you do it once, it just becomes repetition in that world. And then I will be here to also answer questions and things along that lines. And again, if you can't be live with us that day, not a problem. The recording will be here for you forever. I will be, I probably won't be stitching all of the blocks next week live. I will probably do one with us live, because I mean, when we do one snowflake, I think you can do the other 3 snowflakes without a problem. And then the rest of them just become the same. I've kind of grouped things together with similar technique for that purpose, so that I can stitch one. My plan is to have the other one stitched so that we can discuss trimming, because I think that is more important at having things trimmed and knowing how to get them to be the right size. And if we're doing quilting in the hoop and the quilt designs, it's even easier to trim than if you're not quilting. But we'll talk about all of that next week. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me. I'm really excited. I hope to see a lot of you here next week and look forward to seeing us as we navigate this particular project, and looking forward to getting everybody motivated for the holiday season and creating a family heirloom for you and your family in the future. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all real soon.